All right, beautiful people. Well, it's Athletics LLC Day. It's the end of Huffapalooza week. So there's a lot going on, a lot going on. So welcome one, welcome all, but especially welcome to the Governor, Huffapalooza, and Sir Lucius. I love it. I know. I was like, hey, he changed it. Governor, how are you tonight, sir?
My head's spinning, but you know, it is the typical track season, right? Like you blink and it's almost over. Lots to do and very little time to do it. Also, I mean, major adjustment as far as like recruiting and I mean, it's just all a mishmash right now. So number one is making sure my kids are sound mind and body going into the second half of the season, heading into championship season in May, and let it rip.
Yep. Sir Lucius, how about yourself, sir?
I'm well. Still, I was suffering from Florida relays fatigue, and then
Compounded.
Tom Jones happened, and then so yeah. Maybe by the time we get to the conference meet, I'll be recovered, but we'll see.
No.
No.
Not it.
I said maybe.
I like the enthusiasm. How about that?
Yes.
We'll run with that
I'm
one.
determined to recover at some point. I am.
Yes. We'll give you an ashwagandha and let you have a night.
All right.
But then we'd have to take you from bowling. So
yes, exactly.
Huffapalooza, you're muted, but hello, how are you?
I was, there was some riffraff going on, so I wanted to be muted. So
Got it.
I'm good.
I mean, wouldn't that be apropos for a palooza?
I mean, yes. Yeah, there's a lot going on at the end of the palooza. Would you like to explain to the rest of the world what?
No, I was just going to ask you to explain that actually.
It's more fun if you explain it.
Well, okay, so this very humble young man acclaimed his birthday week as Huffapalooza. The birthday week is because he entered the earth. Oh no, he entered the earth on April 14th. The lovely nurses in the hospital wanted to say, no, it might be a different day. And so the government recognizes a different day of when he actually appeared on earth. And so now it starts on the 15th and commences on the 19th, which is today of when we're recording. So at 12:01, Huffapalooza is officially over. So
X.
yes, nobody is
this way.
By this.
This way you don't have to stress about remember my birthday. Like you got a 5-day span to just throw in a happy birthday in
there. Hey, not one child is surprised. Not one.
Listen, you guys are legitimately my friends, so of
I know that's
you
why
should
none
not
of us
be
are
surprised. Listen, I had two choices: complain about the fact that I have 2 birthdays, or just make it fun. So I decided to make it fun. It's not like I get gifts on 5 days. Trust me. Now that would be different.
I feel like you have gotten gifts on 5 days.
I wish it has not happened.
Oh, Clyde, how are you today, sir?
I am behind schedule, clearly.
But I was going to say, besides being super safe while driving.
I'm definitely behind schedule, but I'm here. Why? Because I'm committed to the cause.
But it's for the season right now. Recruiting calls, recruiting dinners.
Yeah, I just wrapped up recruiting dinner and trying to make my way back to the office because there's no way I'm gonna make it back home before the show really gets off. So yeah, ripping and running. 30 days till conference.
Yeesh.
Please don't remind me.
Thanks
Please
for the
don't.
reminder.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I did not need that. No.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, with that being said, let's talk about some good stuff that is indicating what could be happening at conference and going forward into championships, the real championships. This past weekend, we were some of us were able to see it via results. Some of us were able to see it in person. But last weekend was the middle of relays weekend or relays passage by having Mount Sac, Brian Clay, Long Beach or Beach Invite. And then on the other side of the continent, there was Tom Jones. There was stuff in between, but those are the only two things that really mattered. Really mattered. Because let's be real, whatever meet you were at this weekend, you had another tab up of what was happening at Tom Jones, and you had your other 3 tabs at Beach, Brian Clay, and Mountain Sac. So, man. I
Like,
mean,
do you guys realize if the outdoor nationals was like the indoor nationals, like most of the people in the country will have qualified on Florida's track this year?
Pretty much.
I mean, you have number 1 and
They'd be
number 2.
complaining that they'd be complaining that, you know, we don't all have access to Florida's track. And
Oh, you don't think I'm going to use that for my loophole to get out there?
Florida's track is banked, and you know what I mean? It'd be all kinds of nonsense.
Right.
It's
No, but didn't you
perfectly
guys-
slanted and it's at the right altitude.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the wind
right.
stopped.
By the
But
way,
you guys
already,
got ranked number 1 and number 2 for meets this year?
Number 1 and number either 4 or 5.
Oh, okay, got it.
And didn't you say Tom Jones got upgraded to an E meet?
Went from F to an E, yeah. Like they got upgraded like 48 hours before when we put up the performance list. Yeah. It's like, wow. I mean,
that's a good
Yeah.
thing. That's a good thing. And I again, you can tell administrators almost anything. I assure you, I'm gonna find me a loophole.
Well, see, and the thing is like, you know, it's just like any other competition. It just takes one event to get it started.
Oh,
In the
absolutely.
very first event of the night, in the very first heat, Miss Alfred runs 2191, and it's on, and it just rolled from there. I mean, look, I'm just gonna tell you, anybody that I don't know where she's going in this week or next week, whenever she's running again, but I don't even know where Big 12s are, but or the
OU.
regional, yeah. So wherever they are, and when the NCAs are at home for her, like, you guys need to want to come watch this because it's special. Like it's special. And the thing about it is, it's like she's just a machine. Like every time she steps on the track, it just, you know. And if you look at what she looked like a year ago, you know, she was a pretty good sprinter a year ago.
Yeah.
But you know, she's leaned out. You know, she's clearly gotten stronger. Her mechanics are better. You know, and she's really serious about her craft. It's pretty impressive to watch. But I mean, she kicked the whole thing off, and it just, you know, it ran for the steamroll from there. It was amazing. You know,
I know I'm in the minority on this. At least that's been my experience. But with everything that Julian done, I'm more impressed. I'm most impressed with her 200 meters. Like, that's
as am I.
Yeah,
she's come such a long way in that event. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's call it what it is. She's embraced running the 4x4, which is in turn
Translating.
Yeah.
translates into. I mean, when we saw her indoors and the contribution she did on the 4x4 relay, I was like, okay.
Yeah, because she's not just participating in the relay.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's not a
Like
carrier.
she is
She's
going,
doing it.
grabbing the stick and then going to get people.
And she's going to get people. That
Right.
is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
You know,
what
and
else
I think,
caught your eye, Sir Lucius?
I mean, I think Noah Lyles, there's nothing super impressive about his 200, but his 100 and the 200 combined, the look of him, he's clearly loaded up right now. Clearly. So I mean, I was very impressed with Noah. I don't even know how to pronounce the dude's name. Oregot. Is that the quick pronunciation? I don't want to mess it up.
Yes,
Because trust me, I'm not trying to make that dude mad. 1960. I mean, it's like, you know, you're standing there and I'm watching my guys and I'm watching this guy. I'm like, wow, And then when the time clock starts, like, whoa, my guy ran fast too, right?
Right. Right.
Just super impressive with him, and I think the biggest thing with him is like, he's another guy runs a 4x4. He'll grab his stick, and he didn't run it at our place, but he's a 44 split on the relay.
He's a 44 split,
And so I think that was super impressive for me to see. I was glad to see Elaine there. Elaine Thompson here made an appearance, and obviously she didn't run very fast, but she's another one that's clearly loaded up. There was a Grand Holloway Broadbell match that went on Saturday that, and so I've already been asked to let you know he got a C for the 1303, and he got a D- for the 1305. So we're there. We're there. I think the big. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The star of the meet was Britton Wilson.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She absolutely, she destroys a great field. She wins the 400 hurdles by over a full second, and then comes back the next day and breaks a collegiate record in the 400. And it's the ease in which she's doing things, folks. Like, she's very polished. She's clearly trying to become a better manager of the 400 hurdle race. Much better. And obviously she does that. She's a problem.
So let's talk about that for a second, because by what I saw, did I see Rashida closing on her at the end
in the 400? Yes.
Okay, so that actually happened.
There's no that happened. And it was interesting because, like, Rashida kind of let her go, I would say. And then at about 60 to go, 70 to go, she started to close a little bit, but she let her get way too far away.
Okay.
Way too far away.
It was echoes of Shawnee Miller with what's her name from Bahrain. Just let her go, and it was, okay.
And Britain doesn't come back.
Right.
That's not
it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Exactly. She's just like, okay, I'll see you at the finish line. But I thought she was the absolute star of the show. There was just so much good stuff, man. Two flat in the 800.
The long jump.
The long jump. This
698.
Little Jim, Nick Peterson had a day. He coaches the top 4 girls, and the energy they brought to the competition was phenomenal. That was the best part of it. And watching Anna stick her nose in there, like Anna's like quietly putting together a 7,000 point heptathlon. Nobody's paying attention to it.
Nobody's paying attention to it.
I don't know if it's quiet, but
right.
if we know how to math.
Like in this meet, I think she threw the shot put over like close to 45 feet. She ran 13:19. She ran 54.4 in the 400 hurdles and jumped 271. 671 or something like that. Yeah. So she's quietly putting together quite the season. And I think that was the great thing about it, is just the number of professionals that showed up at the Tom Jones meet. Think about it like this. There were 2 teams at 38.60 on the men's side in the 4x1. Okay, look, here's the thing. Texas State ran 303 in the 4x4.
So I was gonna say, okay, hold on.
Exactly.
Pause. Because
folks, we started at the right line, so don't start.
That's hilarious.
They got it done. Shout out to my man at Texas State.
Right. We were talking about it today, and just, programs that are focusing on this area and this area and this area. And I was like, stop. Texas State ran 303. You can't say anything right now. It doesn't matter. You just have to work. You just have to want it, and you just have to put your feet on the ground and go fast.
The beauty. Okay, I'm going to give you an event, and I'm sure if I did a deeper dive, and I'm surprised the governor hasn't. Maybe he has. He's going to share with us. But, okay, like, we're watching the men's 400 on Saturday. Heat 11's on the track. Heat 11 was won in 46.50 something. Heat 11. I mean, I think we had a girl on 23.2 in the 200. We used to think that was pretty quick, right? She's like 25th.
Right.
13,
I mean,
13 under 23 seconds.
exactly,
Okay.
13. Right.
And then you had 12 under 46 seconds in the men's 400.
Yeah, I knew the governor did his homework.
Absolutely.
I knew it. Yeah, how many? Like 5 guys or 6 guys broke 147. It was like
Yes.
I know our guy ran 147 flat, and it was like 6 guys that beat him. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was heat 3 of the women's 800 was 1 in 202. I mean, like people were just PRing like out of their minds. But again, it was just the energy. And it started, like I said, Julian started on Friday, and then on Saturday the first event was women's hurdles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the trigger point there was Chuck, your girl Nia Ali. Man, she looks great.
Hey,
Oh my God! I mean, I know that's your homie right there, man. She looks phenomenal.
the world has screwed up if you let Nia Ali back in the door.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because
Clyde,
she's one once she gets a seat, she's not getting up.
Nope.
No, she looked phenomenal. I didn't realize that heat 11 was meant to be slow, because out west for some reason we were running slow to fast. So like
That very
11,
true.
Oh
Very
my
true.
gosh.
yeah,
It was
We'll see. Here's the thing.
Whose idea was that?
Because
I don't
this
Nobody
all
good.
started. This all started indoors. If you go to Arkansas, they run slow to fast.
it's terrible. Terrible.
And guys, the rule book says you're supposed to run slow to fast, unless for facilities or whatever. So we, for facility or other reasons, we run the other way, right? So, but yeah, no, I mean, Toby Amazon, like she's not turtle sharp, but she ran 11:10 or something,
11:10,
and looked good doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And see, here's the thing. Like Chuck, like Clyde said, Julian's 200 is really nice, but man, her race model in the 100 is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, Talitha ran 10:96 and she was 4th. Okay?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I mean, like 10, like there was a guy from, I think it was Willis from Florida State, won the second heat of the 100 in 10:08, and then his homie won heat 5 at 10:10. Is Ishmael Cohn, right? It just went on all day long. Like it was just one event after another, after another, after another.
Ohio State ran 3:26
and looked good doing it. And hold on a second. So Chuck, I guess it's just the night for your girls to be getting shout outs. Dana Boone.
Yeah.
Dana Boone had 2 girls 151 mid or better. Ohio State had 3, which is why they ran 3:26.
Ow.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, it's the best. That is now the gold standard competition for the regular season.
Yep.
It is what it is. I don't imagine it's going to change in the coming years. It's
Okay,
it's
so
the right time of year. It's the right weather. It's
Yep.
the right location.
And somebody needs to find out, because like apparently Alonzo Russell is working a job. And his PR coming into this season was 45:25. 2 weeks ago, he ran 44:98. This week, he ran 44:73.
He's working a 9 to 5 job.
Right.
Wow.
Not sure who's coaching him, but and that's another event that was, spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Like 45.5 was like 6th in the Olympic development 400.
So speaking of D's and F's,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The whatever you want to call it, the pro men's 100 meters at Mount Sac, the entire event D. Christian Coleman didn't show. So some person representing to be Mr. Norman
Oh my gosh.
ran something. It was the most anticlimactic situation I've seen in a long time. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And listen, you don't put a lot of stock in season openers and all of that, but as far as the build up versus the letdown of that particular race for Mount Sac, like that was really bad.
Where is Mr. Charlton that how you pronounce his name correctly, Charlton?
Charlton. Yeah.
Where's he training?
No idea.
He looks
He
good.
looked
though.
good.
Yeah.
He looked good.
He looked really good.
But it like
What did he run? 'Cause I was traveling.
987. God bless
87.
you. Sorry. 987. It was like 3-point win.
Yeah, it was windy.
Yeah. But it was just the way he looked doing it. I mean, like, I think that Michael Norman, if I didn't know, but I think that Michael Norman and Matt Bowling said, hey, we're going to sit in the blocks and watch everybody start. Because neither one of them moved.
They
crazy.
did. They definitely didn't move. And then, I mean, I've seen Michael Norman run the 100 before and look good doing it. He took so many steps once he decided to move.
Yeah.
It was like what's happening here?
Like,
So-
like I said, it's almost like him and Matthew decided to run the same race model because Matthew took more steps than he did. They just ran in place.
Now, I will say this as far as bowling is concerned, the West in the Mount Sac situation, the star of the show on the women's side were the Georgia girls. Georgia girls were on fire.
1104, 1106, something like that. Both
Crushed the 1, crushed the 2. Like they were out there getting things done. They looked really, really good. It was a fun show to watch from the Georgia women, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, the crazy part about Mount Sac is that for the first time, maybe in, I don't know about Clyde's life, but I know in my Mount Sac life, it was cold and raining.
Oh my God.
For a good portion of the meet. And we kept saying, what meet are we at?
It was terrible. It felt like Drake. It was
Really?
it was LA Drake. It was cold. It was wet on Friday.
Listen, the
crazy.
2 days of the deck, Wednesday, Thursday, it never got above 62 degrees.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And
now,
the second day of the
Drake's
deck, it was raining.
Drake, I'm being extra. But if you tell me it's below 60 and raining in Cali, it may as well be 30 something.
Well, see, I got a couple of calls on Friday, like, what's the weather there? I'm like, it's 84. Man, it's 50 something degrees here. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Well, see, because I talked to the EP the day before, and he was like, it's 53. I'm like, oh, it'll be better tomorrow. And it wasn't.
Yeah. That's the lie I told. That's the lie I told my decathletes too. We were driving to the meet for day 2, and it's sprinkling out, right? And they were like, "Well, coach, do we bring an umbrella? And are we gonna be able to be in a tent?" And I was like, "Why are y'all tripping? It's not gonna rain."
Yeah.
I had to buy dinner.
So back to
and apologize.
So Mount Sac, the young lady from Texas A&M, the 400, very good. Justin Robinson's running well again.
Yes.
See, I don't know which California meet these things were happening at, but because the trifecta that was going on, but I saw the results of that. I mean, that was a deep race as well. I think like
no, that was Mount Sac.
That was Mount Sac. Okay.
So for context, just the Long Beach meet and the Azusa meet are typically overflow meets, at least historically.
Okay.
And the Azusa meet has morphed into this super elite distance carnival.
Yes, yeah.
It's a better version of Occidental.
Yeah,
that's what it's become.
And I mean, listen, they are out there on some true marathon work capacity. I talked to the official and some of the people who were putting it on Friday. They were out there from 7 a.m. to past midnight. Nothing but distance all day. Like
there was a lot of very good runs over there.
No, yeah,
15, 20. I mean, somebody ran like 338 or 339 in the 1500. I think it was a guy from Alabama maybe did that. JJ's up to his old tricks. A couple of girls jogging too flat. That kind of thing. 201.
No big deal.
Like the young lady, Miss Rose from LSU had a weekend.
Yes.
She runs 159 flat, and then she comes back and runs 411 the next day. She had a weekend.
That was fantastic stuff.
And back on this side of the world, Big Joe Fomble, 998.
First one under 10.
Yeah.
I think for me the shock it was shocking. It actually was. The men's invitational, if you will, 400 meters at Mount Sac. Of course, everybody was expecting Elijah Godwin to win it. And he went out there and he ran 45.6. But I mean, the Arizona State, Justin Robinson and Ishmael Turner from UCLA, I mean, they lit him up. 44.98, 45.1. Like it really wasn't close at all.
Yeah,
And Elijah
I think Elijah. I think he's sick. Like I think he might have. I know he had COVID before, so he may have had some kind of a relapse or something. Like, because he just doesn't look himself. Like,
No,
it's strange. And it's strange because he's run 20:33 in the 200 this year.
Right.
So when he does that, you think he's gonna crush the 4. Yeah.
He had a huge lead coming off the 3 and then faded, I think, all the way to 5th place.
Yeah, he must be sick. He must be sick. Because he looked spectacular indoors. Absolutely spectacular indoors.
Yeah.
No. The 400 hurdles at Tom Jones, Mr. Caleb Dean, that was like a full second PB at 48.4. Wait a minute. What's the dude's name from Tennessee? Griffith? What was that?
Yes.
44.67.
Yeah.
I told Dwayne, every time you come to my track, you bring somebody here and they run 44 seconds. That's enough. Every time they cover, he's got a different one. That was spectacular. I mean, the college men's high hurdle race. Okay.
Yep.
Without looking, what's the guy from Howard's name?
Howard got 3 of them.
Dylan Hurd. Dylan Hurd.
Yeah, you just look though.
I wrote it down. Sorry.
So you looked right.
13:29.
So he ran 13. I was standing behind David Oliver. He ran 13:29. It was a little windy in the prelim, right? Like 3 point something. I'm like, and Dave's like, I'm like, whoa. The dude went 13:29, and he's like, he's like 5'10", right? And you're,
he's not built like David.
No, he's not. But Tennessee has 3 high hurdlers. They've got 3 400 hurdlers. They had a great meet as well. It was interesting in the women's sprints. I think you have to go a deeper dive to look at the stuff because it was kind of overshadowed by Texas being here, and like they're just so dominant right now but there was a lot of other really, like I said, Dana Boone was the sleeper of the competition. Dana Boone, UCF, they were sleepers. Her girl won the short hurdles. They had really well the 4. That I was surprised he didn't run better in the 4x4. But the 4 to 2, she's having a year so far. I hope she keeps it rolling.
Speaking of having a year, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that mid-year outdoors, Utah and Utah Valley women's distance runners would be at the top of any of these lists, I wouldn't have known who you were talking about. But they like Everlyn Kimboy, Utah Valley. She's number 3 in the 10K and destroyed the field in the 5K. She ran 15:20 in the 5K. And then Utah has a girl who's number 2 in the 5K. I'm not going to butcher her last name, Simone. And then they have the number 1 girl in the country right now in the 10K. Emily Vincers. Like
so I think the thing to try to figure out here is where would the girl from Utah Valley be next year?
I mean, probably the case, but because
somebody's whispered in her ear as we speak. We know that. So
well, the easy one is to just go up the road to Utah.
That is easy.
Yeah. Or closer than that to BYU.
Yeah. No, there was something very
Utah
very
Valley
special that happened on our track Saturday. It was the first time that Christian Taylor and Will Clay ever competed together on our track. First time.
Wow.
That's crazy.
First time. Yeah.
And it came down to the last jump, didn't it?
Yeah, of course it did. It's Christian and Will, right? It's Christian and Will. And Will won by a centimeter.
A centimeter.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I love Christian, but I love Christian, but you know what? It's always fun, right? When somebody, I know he doesn't, but when somebody wins all the time, it's cool when they go as deep as they can for what they got for right now, and it doesn't quite get there. You're like, oh, that's just
And
great
they're both coming off
because he's going to train like he's
major.
never won before.
Yeah, well, Christian's
they
been
both
here. They're both coming off of major injuries.
Mhm.
They're both going for a short approach, and it was good stuff. And Christian's been here in Gainesville for quite a while. I think he's leaving to go back to Austria with that's where his wife's from. I think they're leaving next week, but no, I've watched him put himself together. It's been quite impressive to watch. It has been.
Well, that's awesome. I don't want to not give this particular shout out because sometimes things happen that, like you said earlier, that things can get overshadowed. First off, I saw one and heard about the other. 2 Division II male hurdlers this weekend ran under 1380. One ran 1370. What did Terrell's guy run? 78 or 79?
Something like that, yeah.
And then young man at Lee University ran 1350, win legal. Right. And you're just to me, it's just so awesome because like at the end of the day, we all know there ain't no such thing as bougie kids at D2s. Right. And ain't no such thing as lazy coaches at D2s. Like those coaches are all scrapping and working and doing their thing. And then, very quietly as it's kept and even though the weather certainly chose violence, Harrison scored 84.92 and hit the auto standard for world championships in the decathlon in that same weather that I just described to you. And
coming off an injury.
Coming in his first deck after being off for a year and 2 months from being injured. And then Kendrick Thompson, again, being a complete and utter newbie and in the worst weather possible, probably for a deck, puts up a 250-point PB and is the first Bahamian over 8,000.
Can we pause so Mr. Palooza can give a decathlon lesson to the audience? I just want to throw in the Iowa men are running.
Oh yeah,
they are running.
Yes.
2010.
Yes.
They had 210 guys.
Yeah, 210
70.
Yeah.
Okay. The Iowa men are running.
The 3870 was at Texas. They didn't run it at
right, for sure. But
still,
they are running.
They are. It was funny during the 200. I walked up behind Joey. I'm like, "Hey man, somebody's eye was coaching. We need to find out who that dude is."
Yeah.
He just laughed. But and speaking of coaching, I mean, speaking of the Bahamians, Terrence Jones.
Yes, indeed.
991. That was very nice.
So fun fact: Kendrick Thompson and Terrence Jones are cousins.
Wow.
Yep, not surprised.
This is the lesson that I wanted from Mr. Palooza for the audience, because and I'm not trying to make light of it at all. I just find it to be an interesting dynamic. Sir, can you explain the gravity of the young man from Georgia not being able to get his marker off for outdoor? Like, that's going to create a whole bunch of dominoes.
Okay, so without going too deep in the woods, I'll say it like this. It literally completely alters the framework of his season, because whether he was being peaked for conference or being peaked for nationals or being peaked for USAs, whatever he was being peaked for now has to be completely altered, because it was all predicated on him leaving this meet with an NCAA qualifier. And I had so many people, I don't know why Kyle didn't just finish. He would have still qualified for nationals. Like, first of all, I'm going to need you to know what you're talking about before you start talking. If he was on 8,700 point pace without the vault, he probably could have still qualified for nationals. But he was on like 83 high 8,400 pace. Without the vault, he would have scored 7,400, 75 maybe. It's probably going to take 7,600 to qualify for nationals. So what now has to happen is there's got to be a regroup. And I mean, the assumption, and I'm not in that camp. I know nothing about what they plan to do. But the assumption is that he won't do another deck before conference, which means he's just going to do the deck at conference, which I'm sure was not their plan.
Right.
Right.
And it just changes everything, because from a combined events tour standpoint, basically what that did is guaranteed he has to do a meet in September, because that meet was on the combined events tour. NCAA's and SEC's are not. Right.
Wow.
So USA's will be meet number one. Let's say he makes the team. World Championships will be meet number two. He needs a third score.
If that's his goal.
If that's his goal, like, meaning the assumption is he would be going pro after this year, because I think he's done with eligibility. So, but it's like anything else. You have to pivot and make the best.
It's a very intriguing inside baseball, pun intended, nerdy, decathlon situation. You feel me? So I appreciate it.
Sure. It's funny, the decathlon was very quietly probably the best thing that happened at Mount Sac, because if I said to you guys, name like the great decathloning collegiate schools, I think most of you would get, the Tennessees of the world, and maybe the Georgias of the world, and maybe from back in the day, the Cals of the world, and there's a few others, right? Well, so Michigan
You guys
State,
notice how he threw Cal in there? That's where he was.
I said from back in the day, right? I named schools that have that have 3 8,000 point scorers in college. This is my point. Michigan State just put up their 4th this weekend. Right, they have 2 active 8,000 point guys on their roster.
Well, see, and I think, guys, like this is something that people need to stop and pay attention to. This, we're in the midst of something very special happening in track and field. I mean, like, you just pick an event and there are just special things happening. They can be this could be one of those years. I mean, the meet's in Texas, so you know what's about to happen.
Yes.
You know what's about to happen. It's
poor setups, overheated times, weather delays, and fast sprint race.
Here we go.
That's so funny.
No, so okay. So speaking of this, to the point, does the men's 4x1 record go down in 2023?
What's it? 37.97.
Yes, it is.
By who? No, I'm just kidding.
Some riffraff group in Florida somewhere. I don't know.
Wait, pause. True story. I'm looking at Sir Lucius right now, right? And
I'm
reading his
riffraff. Okay.
I know.
Riffraff,
like
ragtag.
I'm sorry.
You
Go
know.
ahead, Chew. I'm sorry.
He had some tall
Brothers.
dudes,
Vander
running
Brothers.
first leg,
So I'm looking at Sir Lucius's face as Clyde is saying all this. And in his face, I'm reading, we ran 36.0 in practice the other day. And we're all
not. We did not.
That's all I can. That's what I'm hearing in my head.
No.
He's like, damn it.
I mean, see,
they left the camera out.
I don't think that we've even talked about running 37 seconds, and we're not going to talk about running 37 seconds. We're just going to talk about passing the stick efficiently and doing the best that we can, and that's going to be our chore.
No, but I meant by anybody.
I mean,
I know what you meant. I'm just speaking for the Gators.
Yeah.
I'll say this to Clyde's point, and I understand exactly what he's trying to say, right? There are some special groups out there right now, right? Like, there's a lot of heat at Texas Tech. Yeah. There's a lot of heat at the University of Florida. Let's be clear. There's a lot of heat at Iowa, right? Yeah. There's a lot of heat at Arkansas, right? There's a lot of heat, like LSU. Multiple, right? There's a lot of heat and always good stick passing at LSU. So I get his point, right? It's like, man, with this much competition on the track at one time, you don't have to necessarily try to break records. You just have to try to win.
And I think we have to caution ourselves as well, because I don't think we should expect the plethora of records outdoors that we had indoors. I mean, that was just a special group and a special situation, and it's altitude, all that stuff as well. But I mean, as far as the question goes, Clyde, I don't know. 38.5 is a long way from 37 now.
Indeed.
And I'll leave it at that.
Indeed. A very long way.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, and this goes in into relation to what we were talking about with Tom Jones and the conversation that's happening about Tom Jones and how everybody has to get there, and the not allegations, but the statements like, oh, did they start at the right line? The track is so fast. It's not anything besides the environment, right? The environment brings that out of everybody. So tying it back into the 4x1 and what we were just talking about, with everybody going as fast as they are over barriers, flat, things of that nature, it's just the environment that's going to create these scenarios, like USC getting into the 4x1 last year, and that wasn't really expected. It's the environment and the wanting to do the best and be around the best. So, I mean,
so this is what I think is going to happen. And this is something that, okay, so I've had this discussion with 4 people, so I'm going to share this with you guys. People get it twisted outdoors, right? Like, you don't have to chase marks outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of people are chasing marks right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the people that are chasing marks, we won't see at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are building, it's
putting
going to
things
be
together.
nice.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, the outdoors is about being in the top 48 and then being in the top 12 and then trying to be the national champion.
Yes.
Because there's a
You just
lot
have
of
to be
people
on
that
time.
ran really fast this past weekend who you won't hear from again.
Steady
It's not
as
about
you
time.
go.
You
Steady
have to
Exactly.
as you go.
race outdoors.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to know how to compete outdoors. That's the big one right there. Because going, and I mean, here's the thing for me. I mean, it's exciting to watch. It really is. I mean, being in Gainesville this past weekend, it's like, if you blinked, you missed something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I was down at the long jump, and somebody from up in the stands called my name, and I turned around and listened to what they said to me, and I heard the people go crazy. And the kid from Florida State just jumped 819, and I missed it.
819.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like boom. It's just that quick. Right?
It's all your fault.
Exactly. Why are you talking to me? I'm watching the long jump. I mean, that went on all weekend long, and that's the beauty of what's going on right now.
I got to throw this in there. I would be remiss not to throw that in there. So between the shuffle of the 3 meets, right? Friday, I'll leave out how weird Mount Sac got with the entries, but Friday, we have a young freshman named Ajamu Reed who jumped 780 and some change indoors. And for some reason this year wasn't good enough to get into the meet. But so it's Friday, it's wet, it's cold, and the boy goes out there and jumps 750, and he was a little disappointed. The next day at Azusa, boy jumped 793.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Harris, he's currently number 5, I think, in the country. Mr. Harris is getting it done, but that to the point of learning how to compete, him going through that frustration and being able to rebound it literally the next day. It's like, kid, the jump was already there. You just had to go execute in a moment. And throughout the season, when you see little things like that, like that's what everybody hopefully is trying to set themselves up to do, because you absolutely don't have to chase marks outdoors.
Right.
Top 16 in the country is impossible. Top 48 in your region is fine.
Not impossible.
Like, it's fine.
Just perform.
And speaking of that, I want to give a shout out to Jarvis at Miami. His
wow.
I saw that.
Yes.
1712. It was elegant. It was pretty to watch. I mean, this kid, I mean, obviously he had a good
He was a 50-footer in high school, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we've got another TJ star on the horizon. I'm happy for Jarvis. I mean, he's been plugging away at Miami, and yeah,
and that's one of those instances. Okay, now I'm not trying to throw shots at Jarvis. we got to do that in June when it counts.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to shots at you,
exactly.
Rob.
Exactly.
I want to see him get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, Rob's boss trust me, she's told him the same thing. I promise you, she has.
Hey, y'all stay off my man Rob. He just had a kid. He's focused now.
Hold on a second. Nobody's on Rob. I'm just telling you, we got to see. Russell Robinson, one of his mentors and coaches. Well, at the high school he went to, is one of my fraternity brothers. He was telling me, the guy was going to be good. We just got in on it too late. That's the other beauty of that. Like, Rob was on that guy when nobody knew who he was. if I'm not mistaken, he was a walk-on at Miami the first year and earned a scholarship. I promise you he's on full scholarship now. You know,
Wow.
but like that. I'm seriously, the guy was like a 50, maybe a 49 or 50 footer in high school, and he is really
Wow.
developed well. You know,
That's awesome.
so kudos to both of them for that one, because that 56-2 is nice. It's very nice.
So we've built up and reviewed the last weekend. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit, and a lot of it is the actual word. We're going to highlight some of these things that we could see from this weekend going into USA Champs. So in this segment, we're going to have this segment continue throughout the next, I guess we can go 12 weeks.
It's 12 weeks, yes.
Yeah, and we'll see how we skip around now. We haven't quite figured out the method to the madness yet, but we're going to take one event group, men and women, highlight them. You know, who do we know? Who do we expect to know? Who do we not know yet? And who should we be looking for in the given event? So in true track and field world existence, we're going to start with the 100. Surprised.
And this is in the context of USA's.
Just
USA.
USA. Yeah.
USA's.
Yeah.
The USA Championship meet itself.
Mhm.
Right. You know. So I mean, I'll go first. I mean, it was my idea to do the 100, so I'll go first. But so I'll start with the men, because I'm sure Clyde can't wait to talk about the women. But
I didn't even know we were doing this question.
I know, but now that you know, I know that you can't wait to talk about the women. But I mean, I think that the men's 100 is, you know, this is straight old school. It's a freaking bar fight. It's an alley fight. I mean, it's just, so we got Fred. It's, you know, he's the reigning champion, and then you got Christian Coleman, who's starting to look like Christian Coleman, right? And then you got, you know, the tumbleweed guys and Trayvon and Marvin, you know, and then you got Mike lurking around out there now. You know, Noah is serious about making this team. Ronnie Baker looks really good. So I'm at 7, right? And then you got Charlton just dropped a time.
Yep.
Right. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Like so we're looking at a situation where, you know, somebody's could potentially run sub 990 and be 7th or 8th. You know?
Well, based on how the semis work, with there being 3 semis, I mean, that you could run that in a semi and not make it.
Which I
Exactly,
still
yeah.
hate. Still hate.
It's
Knew that was
brutal.
coming.
It's absolutely brutal.
I've said it since the very first day they did it. 3 semis is the most unfair and unrealistically stupid thing ever.
It is brutal.
It is. You know what it is? It's pro track and field trophy culture. That's what it is.
So how do we see this event playing out? Like,
Wow.
what you got, Governor?
I don't see anyone beating Fred. I think Fred is already planting the seeds. He's already agitating. He's already shaking the trees.
The chess pieces have been moving.
He has put up some decent times. And I'm seeing the playbook that he normally employs, and it's getting close. And then I think the next 2 spots are going to be between Noah, Bracy, and Bromell.
I remember this now, that we get 3 more because Fred's the defending champion.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. So, you know, I mean, I don't know why Coleman pulled out of Mount Sac. I mean, you know, obviously it wasn't right. It wasn't ready, but he has been looking like himself. I mean, and I'm putting him right up there. But I go with the same particulars. You know, I think we have a long time for things to play out, and but right now I still have to give the nod to Fred to win.
Yeah. Because you know, this is one of my favorite things to look at, and y'all already know when I pick a dog, I stick with the dog, and I'll just say this: there are a lot of very, very motivated people in the 100. I'm not going to give away all the things that are going on in these people's lives. I'll just say this. There are a lot of very, very, very motivated people in the 100. And I do think Fred, and I know he's in, right? So who knows if it's Fred. He might run all the rounds because he likes to run. But
he might drop
so,
two blazers and then pull out. We don't know.
Yeah. So like if you just take Fred off the list, right, because he's in, like what's behind him is some conglomeration of Coleman, the 3Bs, Bracy, Brumell, and Baker, Michael Norman, and whatever iteration that is, right? Because we really don't, like, literally, we really don't know what that is. We know what it used to be. We know what it used to be, right? And what we thought it was going to extrapolate to from what it used to be, but we just don't know what it is. And then listen, anybody who counts Noah out is nuts. And the guy who nobody, not one of us has talked about yet, that I'm just sorry. Listen, if the man is running it, I'm not counting Arion Knighton out of anything.
You can count him out. He won't be in there.
Well, see, I didn't know. Look, I haven't talked to his coach, so I don't know. But what I'm saying is,
well, I talk to his coach on a pretty regular basis, and he won't be in there. He's not ready for that yet.
But if you just if you just look at that, if you look at that group right there, right? So if you just take Fred off the list, right? You got 9'7", 9'8", 9'7", 9'8". I mean, it's a wildly talented.
You missed a B, didn't you?
I got Bracy, Brumell, and Baker. Who am I missing?
Bednarik.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Kenny. Kung Fu Kenny is also a sub 990 guy. Right?
Exactly.
And so, like, here's one of those scenarios. Like this is why the 3 semis make no sense, right? Because inevitably these guys are all experienced racers, so they know not to do anything stupid in round 1. Well, the problem is, right, because they're all running various variations of I'm gonna run 90 meters and shut it down. Mm-hmm. You don't know what that actually comes out to on the clock. That's just going to give you a lane in the semi. Well, if you end up in a semi that has Christian, Marvin, Bednarik, right? Somebody's a small Q in that group, right? And so, like, that's what that like, and you could actually get a situation where you get 4 people in the same semi because of the way we do things. This is why 4 rounds was always better than 3, and it's why, for sure, if we're going to do 3 rounds, we need to have 2 semis, not 3. But I mean, how's it going to play out? The only guy I think for sure, if you ask me who you're going to put on the team besides Fred, I would say Christian Coleman. I'm not putting anybody else on the team.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, just because I don't have no idea. It's a whole bunch of 987 to 983 guys, except for Trayvon, whose PBs are under 98.
Yeah. Listen. I mean, Fred is the man. Nobody is saying anything otherwise at this moment. He's earned that distinction, but he literally doesn't have to show up for real. So I was going to put him off to the side. Once that's out the way, man, I don't like having to, like, if you're rooting for something to happen and then you see stuff, you're like, man, I really want that to happen, but just can't see it. It's kind of like, I really wanted to see the Lakers and the Warriors in the next round, but the Warriors ain't getting past the Kings. They're just not. So,
Warriors in 6. Next.
Yeah, okay.
Just telling you.
I hope I'm wrong.
Men's 100 meters.
Yeah, no, it's a mess, right? Because it's a mess because there's so many talented people who at this point in their careers all have real accomplishments behind their names, all who have real things that they're either trying to maintain or reclaim, right? So at this moment, based on the limited things that we've seen, I'm kind of where Huffapalooza is. I'm not ready to put Christian off the team. Like, Christian's on the team. I feel like he finds a way to be 1, 2, 3, right? But I ain't gonna lie to you, man. After what I saw in person, I'm not sure if Mike has enough time to fix what I just watched. Because it could be bad, but it was bad in a way where it's like really.
10-0 with a 3-point win behind you is not.
No, that's what, like, the wind, like, if you see the video and you've seen him do this in the past, it's like a totally different, attempt.
Then if you didn't know it was him, you wouldn't have known it was him. Let's put it that way.
So, like, for the moment,
Hey, but the good thing is he can still run 43 seconds off 10-0 pace. And he's qualified for that. He's qualified for that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's just, something that my kids hear me say all the time. The calendar is the calendar, right? As tired as we all are, there's conference in 30 days. Like, it is what it is.
That's right.
Yep. The calendar for USA.
Okay, so I would like to go on the record. If you say that one more time, we're kicking you off the show tonight. Stop. No reminders needed.
No, but that's
funny.
just kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't think there's enough time for him to get it fixed, which sucks, because I really, really wanted to see that happen. And so after that, man, I don't know.
He's got 12 weeks, man. Let's see. We've seen stranger things happen.
Sure,
we've seen stranger things happen. And I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. We have seen stranger things happen, and the one thing that he has that gives him the chance is he's a super talented human being.
Oh,
that gives him a chance. Gives him a chance. So speaking of super talent, the women's 100. Yeah.
Women's 100 is an actual mess.
It is.
It's an act, like,
Because I don't know how you call that. I don't. I saw Miss Jefferson this weekend, and she didn't look spectacular, but she looked better than she did a year ago when she was here. She didn't run 100, but she looked better in the 200 than she did a year ago when she was here as a collegiate. And you can tell that she's working on things. Like, she's literally, like, I saw her talking to Coach Goodman. They were talking about stuff, and you can tell she's been in the weight room and she's trying to get stronger. And obviously there's the Richardson factor, and we'll just leave it at that, right? And then there's Aaliyah, and then there's
Okay, I'll just step out of the way and let y'all have
TT and I mean,
Gabby
exactly.
I'll step out of. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna step out of the way and let y'all have it. Last I checked, we don't have a bye in the 100, right?
We do not.
That's a fact.
Okay, so
and you're not getting one anytime soon.
Right. So this is Aaliyah Hobbs' show. It's her show. Get it done or don't, but it's your show at this point. American Record indoors, this is your show. So I'll put Aaliyah in there. I'm putting Gabby in there. And I really like and believe in everything that Melissa Jefferson has going on. And I think when it's time to be ready, she's gonna be ready. And there's your team. And you can say whatever you want, but no one else has proven that they can actually get things done when it matters. So until I see it in real life, I'm not about to give it credence.
TT Terry?
TT's my sleeper. Like, if you're telling me and I have to pick a fourth, it's TT. I would love to, like, TT's great. Love TT. I'm a fan. If she makes it,
she was on the team. She was on the team last year, wasn't she?
I understand that, but you asked me to pick.
I'm asking. I'm serious question. Was she on the team last year?
I believe she was the third on, right?
I think she made the final. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to remember.
No, because it was Jefferson and Hobbs, and I believe TT was the third.
Okay, all right.
Official third.
And she was the only one that made the final.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now the real sleeper is the baby, the young one, with Gary. Help me out here.
No, here.
Talking about Tamari.
Tamari Davis.
Tamari Davis.
So let's
See,
segue
that,
into
that,
my,
that,
there we
that's
go.
Mike.
There
Go
we
ahead,
go.
Governor.
So
That's Mike.
I got Hobbs, bar none. I've got Tamari Davis, and I've got TT Terry. I think those three. TT has already proven her mettle. I think she's proven that she can line up.
Not afraid of anybody.
Not afraid. Not
No.
afraid.
TT's right up here.
Hobbs has the potential to actually medal in Budapest. There is no question. Like, and something must have clicked. You know, I mean, obviously we saw the tears indoors. We saw the emotion, everything. Like, there is something inside this young lady that I mean, she is on a mission and I love it. And then, yeah, I mean, when I saw what Tamari, windy or not, I was like, ooh-wee.
See, and here's the thing. I was here. I
Okay.
was standing next to the track. She wasn't running. It was literally like a technique run.
Seriously.
See, it's an interesting situation. Gary Evans is the ultimate family man, right? And so both of his sons, one of them still actually competing a little bit, but I can't think of his son's name right now. God, that's crazy. But one of his sons actually is the guy that helps with the start to acceleration part of the training, right? So he's standing there talking to her about that. And then Gary's talking to her about it down the track. And she just went out and she executed. I mean, like literally, guys, it was like an 85% run. It was so smooth and easy. Just looks incredible. So I mean, like, do not sleep on Tamari Davis. Do not. You know, and remember now, she was fifth last year. Fifth or sixth last year. Yeah.
So she was fourth.
right
So
there.
it was
She was
Melissa
fourth last year.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
It's Melissa Jefferson, Aaliyah Hobbs, Tanisha Terry, and then Tamari.
Right. So she was close last year. And look,
So-
whether we want to or not, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is Shakira. You have to address it. So I'm gonna let the birthday boy take that.
So first off, like Gabby's healthy this year. Gabby's making the team.
In the
I
100?
think that
In the
in
100?
both, absolutely,
Okay.
in both.
Okay, so can we when you put the show up, can you screen report just record that segment?
Yeah. please
Okay.
do.
Because if she does not, that needs to be the best meme of the summer. Okay.
Sure. I'm
Because
here
like,
for all
dude, you stuck your chest way out on
Right.
that.
You
Absolutely.
sure did.
Absolutely.
Because I believe
And
very
I'm
much
not,
in a
I'm not
healthy
saying
Gabby
she's not
Thomas.
going to make it. I'm not saying she's not going to make it. But boy, if she
Yep.
doesn't,
You said it
We
with
got to send that to
The-
Tanja.
The
That
last
was
time I said it with my chest, I was talking about Marvin Bracey. So
Mhm.
anyway, she's my this year's Marvin Bracey, chest out. How about that? Listen,
That's the clip right there. That's actually.
yeah, I'm gonna say this about Miss Richardson. I think Clyde said it about, I can't remember who last year, but this is how I feel. If not now, when?
Never.
If she, okay, and it might be, right? But I'm inclined to believe that quick learners, slow learners, whatever, at some point in time, everybody learns a lesson. And if the lesson is actually there to be learned and performance is ever going to actually matter over clicks and likes and followers, then it has to be now. And so I personally think that she's going to actually focus in enough to make this team. It's going to be hard. I think it's going to be way harder than some of the other teams she hasn't made. Does that make sense? Like I think this team is going to be.
It makes no sense at all to me. Because I'm gonna stick my chest out and tell you, if she shows up and she's healthy, she crushes them. They cannot run with her.
They can't run with her.
She's the
When-
best
if
one
she's
by
running,
far.
if she's running, if she came to
Exactly.
run,
If she's the girl that was there in 21, it's a joke. They cannot run with her. She just proved that. I mean, she beat TT by 0.3 of a second.
But sir, is that new information?
It's pertinent information, sir.
it's why I said it the way I said it. If she came to run, and I feel like this, if she's not there to run this year, so she will never be. And so I just don't believe
Right.
anybody will train, because she has to be training. I don't believe anybody will train to never show up and be serious. So I believe she's going to show up and be serious.
Right.
And then
See,
there's
that's
no way
my
they
thing.
keep her off the team.
So barring any tomfoolery, we'll call it, right? Which is capable. Okay, let's be real there also. But barring any tomfoolery, if she shows up and she's healthy and she's semi-focused, she's killing them. She's just that much better than everybody else. There's nobody on this continent that can beat that child. No, cannot. If she's healthy and ready to run, because another thing too is, I don't know if you've watched the race, her start mechanics are a lot better than they were 2 years ago. So she's been training. Clearly, she's been training.
I don't think anybody disagrees with you on that from a talent perspective. Certainly not.
I'm right there with you, Clyde. I
But
just
it's the tomfoolery factor.
Yes.
factor
It's
that we
the
work.
yeah. I mean, we listen.
Yeah.
We
There is
all are in the same
far-
boat, right? We all
there
been
is
fooled
far
before.
too much time. There is far too much time. Okay, that
I
is
got you
just
now. Okay. Right.
It's the Clippers gonna clip factor.
Right. And so again, but like I'm not sure. I gotta watch Gabby run 100 or two, because I want to see how close she can, because she gives away too much in the first 40.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like Noah.
Exactly.
It's very much like Noah.
But she doesn't close as well as Noah does. From especially from she comes a little bit later. So I think that if Gabby's improved her start mechanics, and she's going to be closer, I mean, hey, that's a problem. I would agree with you. But I think that there's people in the race, the ones we've mentioned, that start so much better from 0 to 40 that I'm not sure she can make up that much ground on them.
Chewy, since you have last year's results up, because what was just said was shows up and is healthy. Because what nobody hurt that I'm aware of last year, what was the finishing position last year?
Gabby was hurt last year.
No,
Gabby
was hurt. No,
I'm not
see,
talking
we're not
about
doing
Gabby,
no.
sir.
Chew,
But
do
you
not
said
answer that
nobody.
Chew,
I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
don't
the
answer,
Gabby.
don't answer this nonsense.
We're not being petty.
Just tell me what place.
No, he can look it up himself. We're not doing this. Let's move on to the next segment, please. We're not doing this. I'm not letting you turn this into petty Peter here all of a
Just
sudden.
saying.
Stop it.
But nobody
Just
hurt.
saying.
Oh,
Didn't get out the
Okay.
first
So like
round.
the lady that is currently running in the shape that she's in, they ain't beating her. Tell you that right now. So Chew, what's next? Because obviously I'm not letting him do that to me tonight.
So, excuse me. Would you rather? The funnier part is he was on Would You Rather. Damn it.
Say again.
He's on Would You Rather.
You've been skipping me a lot lately. Maybe it's because I missed it. I've been
It
doing
was-
Would
yeah.
You Rather forever.
It was okay. So
Forever.
I'll divert the questions to you then, because it was the last time you were supposed to be up, you weren't on. So,
Yeah.
Sir Lucius, you are now taking his
I
questions.
wasn't really
This is
volunteering,
hilarious.
but I'll do it. Yeah.
You just you got
I
voluntold.
just volunteered, but yeah, voluntold. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh,
Let
I
me pray
love
real
it.
quick. Okay.
All right, I know. So I don't know if this pertains. Damn it. So,
Oh boy. here
would
we
you
go.
rather wear Vans or Chucks?
See?
I know.
Shucks.
Okay. If you're getting taped, would you rather have pre-wrap or skin to tape?
Oh, pre-wrap. Absolutely pre-wrap. Oh, absolutely pre-wrap.
Popcorn, buttered or flavored?
Buttered.
Movie buttered or like just buttered?
Movie buttered.
Got it. Extra cholesterol. Got it.
extra, extra. So the thing with the movie popcorn is, so you gotta put a little popcorn, put a little butter, put a
Yeah,
little popcorn, put
exactly.
a little butter. Yeah.
You
Right.
gotta
And you got to
layer it.
coach them. You have to
Layer it,
coach them
exactly,
to
yeah.
do that
Oh,
because they
absolutely.
just don't. They're like on the top.
Trust me. Angela's all over them. Hey, it's right there.
Not surprised.
Exactly.
I love it. I need to go to the movies with Angela.
Yes, you do.
Pizza Hut. Seeing this one, I don't know if it pertains to you because I don't know. Pizza Hut or Round Table Pizza? You guys have Round Table?
I don't have it, but I think I've had it before.
Okay.
I don't know why I think I've had it before, but because I can't remember, I'm gonna say Pizza Hut. Yeah.
Got it.
But I'm a Domino's guy. That's just me.
Really. So Domino's
too.
has stepped up their game. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's not the
They were a little shaky there right out of the pandemic, right?
Right.
And then they
Right.
rebounded.
Oof.
Yeah. So, but
Oof.
I'm a Domino's guy. Yeah. See, that's my go-to late night meal on the road.
Domino's.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That's a great question. I want the rest of the tiles to
Uber,
answer.
Uber Eats, baby.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the other question for you guys at the end. What is your late night go-to food after the meet? Last one. Teamworks or paper itinerary?
Oh, both. But if I had to choose one or the other,
Yes.
oh, paper.
Amen.
Really?
Amen.
Yeah.
So I used to be a paper person, but
Just
then with all the time changes and information
tangible,
changing,
like
See, the thing with the paper one, I can put it in my pocket. I don't have to go searching through my phone.
exactly.
Because here's what happens. Okay, so when I forget the paper one, and my director of ops, the funny guy that he is, what time do we? Hey, it's on your phone.
check your team. That's 1,000%. Hey, Coach Chu, what do we do for it's on your
what?
Teamworks? Do you know what I
Because-
did?
See, because you like Adrian, know the answer to the question without looking.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly. So
So,
but he won't tell me. He makes me look on my phone.
Exactly.
why I
So
want the
this
paper one.
weekend, a coach, I'm not going to tell you which one on staff, a coach said, what time is the bus leaving? Screenshot, arrow, 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 arrow. There it is. I don't even care. It took me longer to draw the arrows than it is to answer. Principalities. Principalities.
Teamwork it is.
Just kidding. But I just like it because it is fluid.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
I mean, I
they're-
like Teamworks because I can go to it and I can actually like email the itinerary to Angela or text it to Angela, or like I text it to Daryl, stuff like that. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so as you ask your question to Sir Lucius, I would like to know what your late night eats are for meet days.
Oh boy. Late night. So
Because you're beholden to whatever DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever the service is. One.
yeah.
Two, you have to decide what delivery fee you're actually going to incur.
Mm-hmm.
Three, you have to decide how bad of a stomachache you actually want after the fact.
Right.
It's gonna
So
give you a stomachache.
if Chick-fil-A is open, that's what I go for. I'll do that.
Isn't their delivery fees like $3.99? And like I'm too cheap for that.
Dude, when I'm hungry, it can be $10. I want my food. I gotta eat.
Oh,
Yeah. Number one Chick-fil-A, and I'm good.
You have a question?
Oh, do I have a question?
yeah, you have to give them a would you rather.
You're supposed to answer the question for Chew and then ask me a question.
Okay. So I told you the answer, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Now your question to Sir Lucius.
All right. Oh gosh. This is one I've been thinking about this one for a while. I can't ask this. I can't ask.
Oh, now you done caught the chew
Right.
disease.
2 weeks in a row.
So all right. Would you rather recruit at Carifta or Jamaica Champs?
Never been either one, so
I know, but based on what you know or what you've
well,
heard,
well, see, so for me, the element is where that depends on where it's being hosted. Like
I was
I'm gonna
just gonna
go
say
based
that.
on where it's being hosted, because because the talent levels at both are kind of retarded. So
right?
I think that I'm probably going to
So,
choose which one I'm going to
Jamaica
go to.
Champs
So
or
this
Carifta and
year,
Bahamas?
this year was Carifta. Yeah,
Yes.
because I love the Bahamas. I do. I love the Bahamas.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go next. I'll jump in there. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. From a late night food standpoint, first of all, I refuse to pay any delivery fees, so I will drive to go wherever it is that I'm going to get my food. And I mean, I'm not kidding. I won't pay any.
No,
delivery fees.
he's not kidding at all, folks. He is that
And
cheap.
yeah, I mean, I refuse. That like, I'm gonna pay you to bring me my food because I'm too lazy to get in my car and go. Like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, I will definitely say Chick-fil-A is stop number one if it's open.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to admit this, In-N-Out is stop number two if it's open
wow.
and they have one. And then I'll be honest, after that, it's funny. Those are the only two like full foods I will eat. If it's not those two, I will literally go to McDonald's and get a large fry and just that's it. You know what I mean? Like I other than those two things, I won't eat a lot of food. I'll just like whatever. What wasn't meant for me to eat tonight.
witnessed this nonsense in Jacksonville once.
You did.
We're riding around, and then he's like, "Well, we're just going to McDonald's. What are you getting? I'm getting a large fry." You're starving, but that's all I'm having. Okay.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
pretty
getting that
sure
special.
I'm pretty sure I experienced the exact same thing in Eugene, Oregon.
Yep.
It's super late. We driving around looking for food, which in Eugene late night there are not a lot of options.
Yes, that's
So we
exactly
decided
right.
on McDonald's, and this boy wanted a large fry, and that was it. I was like, for real? Like we done drove
Yep.
around for that?
See, so now people know I'm not lying. Like
You're definitely not lying. I definitely experienced this. So anyway, so your question for me, sir.
So my question for you is, I think it's a really good one. What records on the men's side and the women's side of the University of Florida are most in jeopardy the rest of this season?
So
What school records on the men's side and the women's side are most in jeopardy?
Okay. So on the men's side, it's the 200, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Think about the giants.
Yeah.
That will go down.
200.
Oh my goodness.
I also think on the men's side that the 100 could be in trouble as well.
Ooh,
hey, and a bonus to anybody who texts, who sends an email into you, who knows who the Florida school record holder for the 100
without looking it up. That's
you can't look it up. You got to you got to watch the show and then send email in your answer.
And then on the women's side, I mean, obviously the triple jump is always in jeopardy.
I was going to say Jasmine's
as is the long jump.
Those don't count.
I think that the 800, depending on the level of competition when we, as we go along, she just ran 2 flat 96 in the records, 2 flat 18. The 400 record's definitely in jeopardy. Definitely in jeopardy. And it's 80-20 chance that the 100 hurdle record's in jeopardy as well. And the 5K and 10K records are in jeopardy as well.
Wait, what about the throws?
About
Are
the
the throws
throws?
close? I don't know. This is the question.
See,
So
she's already
she forgets that Larry Judge used to coach at Florida.
So she's already broken the. Larry doesn't hold any throws records other than the hammer. She's already broken the discus record.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So she clearly can break that again.
Yeah.
The shot put's a little bit tougher to get through. I think she's thrown like right at 60 feet. It's like 62 something, but she's capable because she did it indoors. Yeah.
Does Miriam have that one?
Mariam does. Yeah.
Mariam, sorry. Sorry, Mariam. Don't hurt me when you see me.
Yes. So
All right.
those are the records that would be in jeopardy.
So all of the women's
almost stole my
team,
question.
and then like 3 things on the men's side.
I just had a peek at the Florida Gators track records.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
You almost stole my question, but I had to take a call when Chu asked her, so I don't know what question I'm supposed to be aiming at.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
answering what's your late night?
Go to
Go-to.
meal snack.
The large fry, baby.
Like I have to leave the house.
No,
Yeah, you had a
Postmeat.
meet.
Postmeat.
You had a meet.
Oh,
And everything else is shut down. So you got to go with your go-to.
Oh, okay. So this is a very Cali answer, but of course it would be. So Dave's Hot Chicken.
Wait, we have it here now.
Oh, you need to
Fire.
go.
Fire.
Dave's Hot Chicken is
Fire.
elite. Yes.
It is good.
You are 147% black.
Ooh,
I'm glad you know that. So yes, Dave's Hot
Lord.
Chicken, if it is available.
so good.
Yes, In-N-Out is always a righteous choice. And again, it's a Cali thing. If you are truly an In-N-Out, you need to, like, you already know what your order is.
Facts.
It's
Through and
always the
through.
same, right? And then, in desperation, Jack in the Box.
Oh,
Man.
really?
I mean, listen, Jack in the Box is epic at any time after 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, Jack's does still go hard.
Interesting.
You don't even have to
Like
eat bad at Jack in the Box late night. You could eat the Jack in the Box breakfast and be okay.
know
That's
what, though?
usually, so that's funny. Today, that's usually where I would go. In-N-Out, my order never has changed. Jack's, as you evolve as a human, it changes. Back in the day, you used to go get the tacos and call it good after the
You
club.
go
Facts.
from
But that's
99 cents to $1.99.
yeah,
to
right. But you
99.
don't do that as an adult. You may not make it home. So yeah.
Governor, I'll say this from my experience. Jack and a Crack in Texas is not Jack and a Crack in California.
Not at
It's
all.
not.
Not even close.
So that's
So Clyde, do you have a question for me?
yes.
Oh
sorry.
yes, I do. Like I said, he almost stole my question. So, of the NCAA records that you have never held and do not currently hold, which one would you want the most?
Ooh.
You
know what? Look, that was
That's a
well-
pretty
that was a
yes.
good one.
That's a first world question, but I love it.
It is.
You said the NCAA records that no one he's
Yes,
coached
not.
has ever held.
Yes.
Right.
Which one would give you most satisfaction?
That's right.
The men's 100 and the women's 4x4.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Both will be very challenging to ever hold, but yes, those will give me great satisfaction.
Amen.
Sidebar, I think the men's collegiate record and the men's 100 is going to get broken this year.
That would be
Interesting.
news. That would be care to tell us by who?
He's a Bahamian and he goes to Texas Tech.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, wrap it up. Heartbeat
you-
props.
I'd like to go first, and apologies if I steal anyone's thunder, but there are two two things that I've seen recently, and I shared one with Huffapalooza because I know exactly how he felt post 2000. And Trey Hardy recently did an interview where he talked about how he's been feeling post career and just the crazy thoughts that have been going through his head. And you know, and to add on to that, Leroy recently went back for the first inaugural meet, you know, that was named after his son. And he gave an interview to the local station, local media, to talk about the aftermath and everything that led up to that. And, you know, I think each one of us at some point has brought this to the fore. Sir Lucius talks about it all the time. And mental health is, it's real. And, you know, and it's the folks that you probably least expect. Some of the folks that have had the greatest amount of success that you would think, well, I mean, why would you think that way? Why would you have those thoughts? And yeah, I mean, I've known Trey Hardy for well over 10 years. I've watched him, you know, do amazing things. And that was just as shocking as anything that I've seen in the sport. But thanks to Huffapalooza and, you know, seeing the roller coaster that he was on, it also doesn't surprise me. So heartbeat props to, you know, the athletes that have been in the trenches, that are currently going through transitions out of the sport. I mean, it took me 6 years to finally reconcile with the fact that the phone was never going to ring again, and that I had to start on the second part or third or fourth part of my journey. That's it.
You know, I said to the governor a long time ago, the problem is sharks don't retire, they die.
Mm-hmm.
We get trained to be like sharks, but then they take away our ability to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that anymore. And you have to fill it with other things, and it becomes very much a challenge. Very well said, Governor. I want to give my heartbeat props to someone that I am like 99.9% sure doesn't even know this show exists, but she's someone that I have been impressed with for a very long time. This week, Jalen Hurts signed. He's now the richest NFL football player ever. Mm-hmm. Right? I think his AAV is 51 million. And he's got the most guaranteed money and all that other stuff. And I know somebody sitting around is wondering why I'm talking about a football player and a football contract. Well, it's because Jalen Hurts' agent is a Black female named Nicole Lynn. And
his whole team is.
She is amazing. And she's real. And she puts like real live like Black girl problems on the internet sometimes, and it's so cool to me to see something good happen to someone good. You know, everybody knows who Scott Boras is, and everybody knows who Rosenhaus is, and right, and you know, and because they're very blustery and you know, it's very much about them. And if I told you that one of the 3 biggest and best agents in that ridiculous Shark Tank that is football agentry is a Black female, you would probably think I was crazy, and I'm telling you that it is. because that's not her only client by far. And you know, I just personally want to give my own ovation to a job incredibly well done, and a career being incredibly well managed. And she has done things like give of herself. Like she one time, the day before the 2 days before the combine, she offered herself up to the internet for an hour. She said where she was going to be, meet there, bring your resume, have something you want to talk about. And I think she's amazing, and I think it's awesome.
It's a great story, and Jalen Hurts' entire management team, not just his agent, all Black women.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Mine is morbid, so I'll go next so somebody can end on something positive.
Nice.
I just, my heartbeat props right now just have to go out to just the women of America who are clearly under assault with all these crazy policies that are being put in place all over the nation. The latest one, the state of Iowa has decided that they are no longer going to pay for morning after pills for rape victims because of abortion, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, because the morning after pill prevents a pregnancy. It has nothing to do with abortion. So to stand on some kind of crazy platform of belief structure, you would rather force a raped woman to carry a child of her rapist than to give her a safe, FDA approved, proven, fix for the issue. Like, it's certain places in this country are turning into a dystopian nightmare, and it's crazy. So, my sympathy, my empathy go out to the women of the country, but my heartbeat props ultimately go to places like Massachusetts and California, who are taking incredible steps to prevent these kind of crazy things from happening. And it's wild, man. I just really hope that people are paying attention to this kind of stuff and do all that they can, through voting and through, being involved in your local communities to bring real attention to this stuff, because it's way out of hand. Way out of hand.
Definitely a lighter note.
Thanks, Chu. Appreciate it.
Heartbeat
Hey,
props.
I
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you're not wrong. Heartbeat props going out to all the athletic academic advisors out there right now. Because if the coaches aren't feeling the pinch, they are definitely feeling the pinch. Oof, stress is on, right? But the heartbeat props to you all, because we get to do our job even more effectively because you do an effective job. So thank you to you guys, you all, you ladies and gentlemen, for getting them onto the track. Yeah. So
they rock.
With that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I haven't given my heartbeat props yet.
Really? Just kidding. I lied.
Oh,
I know. Well,
no, I want to be simple. I want to give my heartbeat props to the female coaches out there. They're absolutely crushing it right now. And, we talk a lot about, females and getting their just due. And I think about, what we talked about, Dana Boone, Roslyn at Ohio State, Amy down in Miami, Althea, Carol, as Chuck mentioned, as Clyde mentioned, is just crushing it at Georgia right now. And there's a lot of great female coaches out there, lined up and going toe to toe with the men and getting it done. And so, we need to stand up and give them a round of applause, because they're doing a phenomenal job.
claps. Just kidding. All right. Now I can call the show to a close.
Yes, you can.
So, happy 4 years episode 2. Always fun. Always fun.
Deuce.
If you did not do your taxes, you are officially late. So hurry up. You were officially there at
Thanks.
this point. Yeah,
Thanks,
I
Chief.
know. You're welcome. That's what they keep me around for.
File your
So-
extension.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
Cost zero.
quickly.
Do it now.
Yeah.
So, with that, everyone have a great weekend, safe travels, and we'll see each other next week. Bye now.